Thank you very much indeed, and it's great to be here with so many supporters of apprenticeships and engineering. I have to say, when I woke up this morning, I had quite a shock. I turned the radio on, and Richard was on talking about apprenticeships. I changed the channel, and Sarah was on the TV. I wouldn't say I was trying to get away from apprenticeships, because I really wasn't. It was fantastic to hear the publicity that we'd got today. But I really did, for a moment, think Apprenticeship Week had come 6 weeks early, and what was I doing still at home? But for everybody who's involved in today's campaign, effectively, a fantastic job, well done, a great profile for apprenticeships and engineering. I am, of course, delighted to recommit to our shared apprenticeship ambition. We signed it last year, and I think when we signed it last year, it was a very special document, first of its kind. And I think it was not just recognising the importance of engineering as a sector, but recognising that the future of apprenticeships and the history of apprenticeships and engineering were so closely intertwined. I don't think I can imagine apprenticeships in this country, or high quality apprenticeships in this country, without having high quality engineering apprenticeships at the very heart of them. And so I do think it's very good for apprenticeships that engineering is growing in the way that it is. And I also recognise that we meet a lot of apprentices in engineering, and they are very impressive individuals. And you'll hear from, no pressure, Beth, but you'll hear from you a little bit later on your story. And I won't. I've been talking to her beforehand, and it's a great story, and so many of them are. But I think when I do say something about the results in a moment, I think we also demonstrate the value of effective partnership working, and Bill and Lynn are great to work with, and Sarah more recently been working with you. I mean, it's great to feel that partnership. And when we talked about working together, we said, in essence, look, in the National Apprenticeship Service, we've got a great passion for apprenticeships. But in Semta, you've not only got a passion for engineering, but you know so much about engineering. You can take the conversation with employers to another level. You can take it on, and between us, we can make a huge difference. I think that's what we've really been trying to put into place. When I go around the country, I meet lots of engineering employers who are doing some really exciting things. A couple of weeks ago, we were at a UTC, an academy, working with universities, and all their apprentices who are mostly going on to higher apprenticeships. And 59% of them were going on to a higher apprenticeship, or an advanced apprenticeship. And when we asked why that figure was so high, one of the reasons was they were very clear about what they wanted to do. They were on a pathway, and they were very pleased to be on that pathway. But they were saying, well, the projects that we're able to produce for the people who are interviewing us for higher apprenticeships are just so impressive. It's not something we do in our spare time. These are major projects which we're asking people to do at an advanced apprenticeship level. So that is absolutely brilliant. The other good story, I think, that the ambition is centred around advanced and higher apprenticeships is what an impact our higher apprentices are making on the higher education system. I mentioned this once before, but the people who are the higher apprentices stand out in their peer group, and university tutors are turning to us and saying what a joy they are to teach because of their appetite for learning. So I think between us, through this partnership, we're actually really making a real difference, and something which I think is incredibly exciting. But I was asked to say something about the figures. My heart was in my mouth, Bill, for a bit, because I thought you'd given the game away, but I just regard it as a bit of a trailer. But as you say, the ambition was to double advanced and higher apprenticeships over the course of 5 years. We set ourselves a target, and when we set ourselves the target, we thought that was realistic and achievable. And in fact, we more than doubled that achievement. The sector has doubled that by achieving a growth of 24% in higher and advanced apprenticeships over the last, basically 18 months, a year to 18 months. I think is fantastic, and a great credit to everybody. And as one or two people have said, it's not just that, it's the fact that 2,000 new employers have become engaged with apprenticeships. And I think we always say that first experience of having an apprenticeship and having an apprentice is so important, because if it's a great experience, and so often it is, that will go on and on again. So it's not just 2,000 employers this year, but 2,000 next, and the figure will only grow. So it's hugely, hugely encouraging for the future. And the biggest growth has been in SMEs. And I do thank some of not just the SMEs, but some of the larger employers who've invested in supply chain growth. I think that's the Commission has been supporting that. We've all been supporting that. Semta has. It's really good to see some of the rewards from that. The other good thing from the figures is that the growth in apprenticeships is not just in one part of the country, it's right across the country. In fact, the figures for the North West and particularly for the Midlands, Yorkshire and the Humber and the North East, they're all incredibly impressive. So this is not something that is happening in one part of the country, it's happening right across the country. So the first question I addressed myself was, how has this been achieved? And I think that I've made the point several times about the value of partnership working, playing to our strengths, collaborating, giving each other energy, and I think that's important. But one of the things which the sector has been incredibly good at is launching and getting behind higher apprenticeship, new frameworks, new opportunities. And I've seen the list of employers, I've seen the list of colleges, GTAs, the list of universities that are involved, and it makes a heck of a powerful engine for that particular change. So I think that's been important. And the other point, a final point I'd make on that, and it's been touched on too, is this is a sector that has some great ambassadors, some great employers and some great individual apprentices, and that's a real strength that I think we're capitalising on. So thank you today. I'm delighted that we're in partnership with Semta. It's a great position to be. Superb to see the results, but I wanted to say thank you, Sarah, to you and to Semta and to all the team. Great to work with. It's so good that we're making progress, but above all, for all the work that you're doing with employers and the opportunities that are being created for apprentices, thousands and thousands of apprentices in the years to come. Thank you very much. My final duty, though, is just to introduce Beth. Beth, who is the Hire Apprentice of the Year and works for MBDA. I've told her that you're a very supportive audience. You always have been, and I'm sure you will be. Beth, over to you.